Right, here's the truth. Attraction has nothing to do with being great, rich, or polished. It lives in the primitive brain, the component that makes a decision instantly if you're a man she must chase or a man she forgets. Machiavelli found out this centuries ago. Humans pass for electricity, worry, and choice, not for morality. That is why ladies ignore the secure guy, however crave the one who seems like danger wrapped in control. In this video, you may examine the 6 pillars of the grimy approach. Simple, precise shifts that make her restless when you're long past, addicted whilst you're near, and unable to update you. Those are not hints. They may be strategies that rewire how girls reply to you on a primal stage. Stay until the stop due to the fact after you grasp them, you will in no way chase once more. You'll come to be the gravity she cannot break out. The primary pillar is motion, movement way you disrupt her rhythm, her mental autopilot, her emotional sleep. Recognize this. Modern, day girls are surrounded through men in her DM, guys at her job, guys who orbit her on social media. 99% of them combo into the equal predictable history. They textual content the equal lines, smile the equal way, comply with the equal script, and her brain filters them out like static. The reptilian mind is programmed to note what is exceptional, what cuts the sample, what feels like danger, and that's precisely what you have to become, the disruption, not via phrases, but through strength. Through the manner you step into space, through the way you do not flow like the others. Imagine a room complete of fellows vying for her interest. Most hover, snort too loudly, tilt towards her with keen eyes. And then there may be you, nonetheless calm, unhurried. Your frame doesn't bend in the direction of her, it makes her bend towards you. Your gaze isn't frantic, it lingers with weight. Your silence isn't always awkward. It's loaded. It is motion, the disruption of the expected. Machiavelli could have told you, the prince who repeats the patterns of others is ruled by them. The prince who disrupts will become feared and desired. Here's why it really works. Her apprehensive machine is constantly scanning. Predictable equals protection. Unpredictable equals pleasure. Safety soothes, however excitement seduces. When your presence breaks her intellectual script, adrenaline spikes. Her pulse speeds up, interest surges. The reptilian brain whispers, "This man isn't always like the others. Pay interest." How do you follow this? When you walk into a room, don't rush to fill the air. Permit your stillness bend the electricity. When you approach, do not use inventory lines. Say something that cuts the instant sideways. No longer for humor, for disruption. Whilst you lock eyes, don't dart away. Do not overplay it. Maintain it until she seems away first. Then shift your gaze such as you already predicted her to. This isn't overall performance. It is biology. Motion is what makes her primitive brain document you underneath chance. But the sort of risk that excites not harms, and that's the foundation of choice. The second pillar is mindset, and right here's the reality. Ladies do not fall for phrases, they fall for gravity. Each girl will check you. It's no longer malicious, it's intuition. She pushes, teases, withdraws, not due to the fact she hates you, however due to the fact she needs to recognize. Can this man lead whilst matters get volatile? Can he stay targeted after I throw chaos at him? Most guys fail. They protect themselves. They provide an explanation for too much. They laugh nervously. They modify their conduct to win approval. In that moment, she feels it. Weakness, but the risky man, he doesn't guard. He does not provide an explanation for. He does not even flinch. He shall we her strength crash towards his, and it breaks like waves towards stone. Think of how animals experience hierarchy without phrases. Wolves don't negotiate leadership, they radiate it, and all people feels it. Women aren't any unique. They do not just hear your phrases, they experience your energy. They read the body you bring before you even open your mouth. Machiavelli could have counseled you. In no way explain your authority. Sit at the throne, and the throne explains for you. That is what mind set is, the invisible crown to your head. Here's the way you embody it. Your frame remains, now not fidgeting. Your voice is slower than hers, now not rushed. Your gaze is direct but cozy, no longer needy. Your reactions are minimum because handiest small guys overreact. Whilst she mocks you, whilst she checks you, whilst she attempts to provoke you, don't combat the body, rewrite it with calm redirection. If she accuses, you smirk. If she teases, you tilt your head with interest. If she withdraws, you stay regular. The primitive mind sees calm below strain as dominance, and dominance is the oldest, deepest cause of desire. The 1/3 pillar is forget about, and right here's the truth. Desire does not develop while you deliver more. It grows when you supply less. Cutting edge guys spoil appeal due to the fact they confuse interest with seduction. They consider that the more they provide, the greater she can need them. However, biology doesn't paintings that manner. The primitive mind values what is scarce and ignores what's plentiful. Assume again to the earliest tribes. What was ample become omitted. What becomes scarce become warped. Hearth, food, shelter, safety. Scarcity defined price. And today the identical good judgment practice applies to you. Each guy floods her with interest, messages, likes, quick replies. And each guy will become invisible. However, the man who withholds, who steps back at the peak, who we could silence, grasp heavy, he will become unforgettable. That is the art of neglect. No longer cruelty, no longer rejection, however, the stylish field of absence. Machiavelli might have warned you. The absent are continually spoken of greater than the existing. Right here's why it really works. When the communique is at its highest factor, whilst laughter flows, when her body is engaged, that isn't the time to linger. That's the time to exit. Go away her unfinished. Go away her stressed. Leave her craving decision. Her primitive brain releases dopamine while she feels pride to your presence. But in case you vanish at the peak of that dopamine spike, her mind will become addicted. She replays your last words. She rereads your closing message. She feels the absence like a starvation. Consider a show that ends every episode on a cliffhanger. You cannot stop watching, not because the episode became whole, but because it wasn't. That's how you need to come to be in her life. The cliffhanger she cannot prevent replaying. Right here's the way to follow it. Don't respond right away every time. Let her feel the gap. Whilst energy is high, depart first. Do not drag it till it dies. Cut calls brief before she's ready. Stroll away in person when the vibe continues to be burning. This is forget used as strategy, and the impact is primal. Her brain hates open loops. It'll chase closure, and you turns into the closure she cannot stop yearning. But right here's the important thing. Forget about without purpose is simply absence. Forget with timing is power. You should withdraw while she least expects it, when she is maximum engaged. That is what turns interest into obsession, due to the fact what she cannot fully have she cannot absolutely overlook. The fourth pillar is boldness, and this is where most guys fail. They construct enchantment. They create anxiety, however they fall apart in the intervening time of escalation. Worry takes over, worry of rejection, worry of ruining the whole lot. Fear of being visible is too much, and so they freeze. They hesitate, they anticipate permission, and in that hesitation, preference dies. But ladies aren't waiting for hesitation. They're looking ahead to boldness, for a man who cuts via the fog of uncertainty and moves with decisive readability. Machiavelli could have reminded you, fortune favors the ambitious due to the fact she is a lady and she or he yields to energy. Her primitive brain is wired to reply to leadership, to decisive movement, to the strike of a man who is aware of what he wants. This is not aggression. This is readability. This is intuition meeting instinct. Consider the moments where preference peaks, while your eyes lock a second too long, while silence thickens between you, while her frame leans close without phrases. Maximum men kill that moment through overthinking. But the dangerous guy, he does not wait. He advances. He touches her hand with purpose. He pulls her nearer in silence. He closes the distance when the air itself begs for release. And here's the ambiguity. Ladies will in no way tell you this. They'll communicate of respect, staying power, gentleness, and those are real. But underneath them, inside the primitive layers of their biology, they crave the man who movements without hesitation. The man who does not ask, "Can I?" but reads the moment and acts. That is boldness, calibrated chance. You do not push whilst her frame resists. You do not rush when the strength is not there. But when the door opens, you step through it without fear, without apology. And that single act separates you from the endless guys she forgets, due to the fact choice isn't always born from protection by myself. It is born from risk beneath manipulate. Here's a way to encompass boldness. Prevent overthinking the final results. The reptilian brain does not care approximately consequences. It cares approximately signals. While you experience tension in her eyes, don't talk it away, improve it. Teach yourself to move first when the instant is ready, not after. Because boldness isn't approximately phrases. It is about the courage to strike at the same time as the iron is burning. And the man who strikes becomes the person she cannot erase from reminiscence. The fifth pillar is magnetic touch, and here's the fact. Words can lie. Presence can be faked, but contact by no means deceives. Lengthy before language existed, human beings communicated via skin, a hand on the arm, a grip that said dominance, a caress that promised safety. The body recalls what the mind forgets, and each female is stressed to respond to the right contact at the proper second. However, here's in which maximum men fail. They touch too soon, too much, or without rhythm. Their touch feels needy, desperate, rushed, and her frame rejects it. Attraction dies no longer because contact is incorrect, however, because timing is everything. Machiavelli would have recommended you, the diffused weapon must be sharper than the apparent one. Contact is that subtle weapon. Whilst accomplished with mastery, it bypasses her good judgment and speaks immediately to her reptilian brain. So, how do you master it? Through expertise. This contact isn't always approximately strain, but about contrast. It isn't approximately maintaining, however, about releasing. It's not about the touch itself. It's about the silence after it. Right here's how to do it. Start with innocence. A light brush of her arm during laughter, guiding her gently through a doorway. A playful tap that lingers just slightly longer than it need to. Small, casual, but with presence, then withdraw. Allow absence carve the yearning. Her body begins to miss the contact earlier than she consciously realizes it. Strengthen in rhythm, close to, gone, contact, silence, secure, risky. You aren't simply touching her frame. You are programming her nervous gadget to reply to your presence like a drug. And here's the primal fact. Oxytocin and dopamine flood her device when the proper guy touches her. You're no longer bonding. You're branding yourself into her biology. Lengthy after she forgets your phrases, her frame will take into account the manner you made her sense. This is magnetic touch, now not invasive, no longer desperate, however planned. The touch that listens with the skin, that observes her response, that commands without pressure. It smiles the ritual of appeal. And when you master it, you may apprehend why most guys are erased from reminiscence. But you continue to be. The sixth pillar is bloodless reading. And right here's the reality. Girls crave being visible. Now, not for the masks they put on, but for the truths they conceal. Every lady is a fort of subtle symptoms. The way she clothes, the rhythm of her voice, the pauses in her laughter, the subjects she avoids. All of these are alerts. Most guys are unaware of them, but the dangerous guy sees what others pass over. He turns into the replicate she didn't recognize she wished. Machiavelli would have told you to rule men, examine their fears, to rule girls, read their hidden starvation. Here's how this works. While you point out something about her that she did not verbalize, you chop through the layers of performance. She would possibly snicker too loudly when anxious. You observe it. She might wear bold jewelry to cover insecurity. You call it lightly. She would possibly talk with velocity, revealing emotions she pretends now not to experience. You reflect it again with calm precision. Unexpectedly, she feels naked. Not physically, however emotionally, seen in a way maximum men should in no way attain. And that sensation is terrifying, however impossible to resist, due to the fact the primal mind craves exposure. It desires a person robust sufficient to peer the fact without judgment. But here's the area. You should in no way weaponize it. If you reveal her too brutally, she'll close down. If you do it with calm interest, she'll open greater. Any further, look at greater than you communicate. Word patterns in her strength, now not just her phrases. Replicate lightly. Say what you spot without schedule. You snort whilst you're uncomfortable. You appear calmer when you gradual down. Go away area. After you display a reality, allow silence do the work. She will be able to fill it with vulnerability. And here's the primal impact. When a female feels seen at her center, she bonds. No longer due to the fact you compelled her. However, because you reached into the hidden chambers of her identification. She realizes she cannot disguise from you, and that consciousness makes her addicted. Cold reading is not performance. It's presence sharpened into precision, and after you master it, women prevent playing video games with you. They drop the masks. They reveal the uncooked female essence they defend from absolutely everyone else. And that revelation is what makes them crave you beyond reason. You are not the man you once have been. The moment you start to practice what you've got found out, you step right into an exclusive league. A person who doesn't wait to be selected, however, who shapes the sport itself. That is the turning factor, the road among who you have been and who you are now turning into. You presently recognize what genuinely fuels preference, tension that sparks fireplace, absence that creates price and control that makes you impossible to forget about. This is not approximately hints. It is approximately area. It's approximately carrying yourself in a way that no woman can forget about because your power is sharper, calmer, more potent than some things she's used to. From right here on, you do not beg for attention. You command it. You don't wish to be wanted. You grow to be the man she fights to maintain. And the deeper truth is this. As soon as you may manage the game of desire, you can manipulate any game. If you can shape her emotions, you can shape your career, your friendships, your complete existence. Due to the fact the talents are the identical. Presence, persistence, power. This is your new identification. Unshakable, unstoppable. A man who would not anticipate permission, however, creates his own gravity. Now take it with you and recognize the person you were is long gone. The person you have emerged as can do whatever. If this opened your eyes and you're extreme about turning into the man who is in full manipulate of his life, my e-book is now to be had. The Plain Guide Built to be Chosen. It's a strategic guide for guys who want to draw, lead, and dominate of their love life and past. Whether or not you are single or in a courting, no fluff, no tricks, just natural effective approach with the intention to set you apart from 99% of guys, and that you will truly use each day. The link is inside the description. And if this video spoke to you, don't simply keep your mind in your head. Write a comment, even only some words. It enables you recall these classes, and it'd help a person else too. Hit the like button in case you loved this content material, and proportion it with a person who for your eyes needs it right now. Simply believe your intuition. We're all seeking to get clearer, more strong internal. So, let's construct minds that do not damage,